Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. Here we are, South Florida's ultimate resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover your future marine forecast, the moon phase, and the tide charts. Everything you need to know to keep you into the bite. Before we get into this, though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks, news of the week. Nothing from NOAA or the FWC about any closures or anything like that. However, we've got a hurricane. It's going to become a hurricane. Right now, it's Tropical Storm Francine out in the Gulf. Going to make landfall probably tomorrow as Category 1, Category 2 hurricane in Louisiana. Now, you might say, what's this got to do with us? Well, it's going to affect our weather, and I'll explain that to you when we start doing the weather segment, because it's going to as you can see, we've got a lot of moisture in the air, and in the next couple of days, it's actually going to drag all that moisture with it and kind of, dry us out just a little bit. Not entirely, but more than what we're seeing right now. All right, so let's get into this. We are talking fishing, right? The inshore bite. Pedro and Anna, they went and they hit the beach. We're going to show you a little bit of what they caught this week. They slayed it, so we're going to get right into this. Here we go. Pedro, he hit the beach. He got himself a nice bucket load of pompano. So if you are into shore fishing, you can't get offshore, or you just don't want to do it, or because it's fairly rough out there right now. Confused sea, it's very sloppy. Go out there. The pompano are running. So let's see if he said anything. This is a 5-hour trip, all on sand fleas and fish bites. 13 to 14 foot rods, 20-pound braid. 4-ounce Sputniks. He said the fish can be out there far sometimes. So, hey, this is us. This is some great information if you're looking to get in on the pompano bite right now. So we got to thank Pedro for his, consistent contributions to the show. He also went out on Juno Pier and laced into the Spanish mackerel. Got himself a nice bucket. So the thing he was saying about this is they weren't hitting the crappie jigs, which are the little white feathers with the gold hooks. He said they weren't hitting gotchas. They were all hitting live bait with a long shank hook. So, whatever he was using for live bait. Let's see if he says something. Nope, not really. Yeah, there's the crappie jig right there if you're wondering what it is, if you've never heard of it. All right, so that is what's swimming around inshore right now. If you're looking to get into a good, healthy bite, we've got, hey, Pedro, how you doing? I just now saw pilchards and sardines. That's what he caught his load of Spaniards on right here. On the sabiki. So there you go. If you're out on the pier and you're looking to get into the bite with it, Pedro is, right there for you. Go out there with your sabiki rig. Get you some water in the bucket with an aerator, filtered sardines, good to go. And, a little bit of patience too, right? So now one thing that I can tell you, being the owner of a previous bait shop and selling lots of live bait, is keeping bait alive is about two things, right? It's about aeration. So you got your little bubble maker thing. And it's also about water temperature. If you can have all the air in the world, if that water in that bucket heats up, it's going to kill your bait. Trust me, it happened to me many, many, many times. So, and you learn. So keep that water cool, keep it fresh, and keep it aerated, and you'll be good. And like I said, you will get into the bite with fish like Pedro has been doing. Man, he's been doing great. He's really, the star of the show lately. Getting out there as much as he can, and just several different species, whether it's offshore or whether it's from the beach, pounding away at it. So again, folks, land-based fishing can be exciting and very bountiful. All right, thanks Pedro for your contributions every week. I appreciate it. All right, so let's see what else we got going on. So that's our inshore bite that we're going to talk about. You know, the other stuff that's swimming around inshore snappers off the piers. Snook. I've seen lots of people catching lots of snook. So let's go to our Monday post and take a look, see if we've got anything else that's the inshore bite. Again, here's Pedro, this is what it's all about right there. Pompano and the Spanish Mac. So there you go. Keep looking at it. Anything from the inshore. Here we go. I believe this is from the west coast up north a little bit. Michael with a nice redfish. That almost looks like a slot size fish. So redfish are obviously skinny water fish and they can be spooky. So, hey, great catch right there for Michael. Awesome. So that's the redfish are biting if you're into that sort of stuff. And like I said, redfish and snook are kind of, same sort of stuff. All right, here we go. Michael, another Michael Trumpetta. He's got a nice, let me zoom in on this. This is a bullhead cichlid. Very nice catch. They're not as common as the Mayan cichlids running around. Hey, great catch. Went out there with the kid, got it done. All right. What else? We got up north. I'll show you real quick. This is Captain Alex. He's still in Alaska, lacing into the halibut and the salmon. Great catch, but that's Alaska. That's not here. So, but still, it's great contribution. If you're ever going to Alaska, hey, maybe he could put you in touch with, some resources there. Yeah. Oh, good deal. All right, let's talk about a little bit about the reef, right? Here we go. Osmani Herrera. Lacing into the yellowtails and a mutton snapper. So he's got some information right here. It says Saturday was sloppy. Yes, it was. The whole weekend was sloppy. We had a swell coming in from the northeast and we had a wind coming from the southeast. That makes a confused sea. Your boat's wobbling all over and it can mess with your bite. So let's see what he says here. Had to really work for the mutton. The bite was super slow on the bottom. The yellowtails, which are not on the bottom, they're up in the water column. They were on fire as soon as we got there, which is great. No flags, but all 14 and above. That's some solid size yellowtails. Could have had the limit, but we threw back 15 or more between 12 and a half and 13 and a half. So, hey, that's some good conservation. When you're throwing back, just barely keepers, that's a great deal. But this is still a solid haul from Osmani. This is Ocean Pulse gear. So if you ever get it, check him out on Instagram, Facebook. He's got a line of clothing and some good stuff. So let's keep moving on. Yellowtails and muttons over the reef, folks. Get them while the biting's hot. Let's see what else we got over the reef. Anything else good to go? Nope. So we will move and talk a little bit about pelagics. We're going to take a look here at Richard. Says he lost his planer due to a bad knot. I told him, don't feel bad about it. It happens to everyone. Wait until a wahoo hits your planer. Then you're going to, hey. So he says he caught 7 bonitas. Perfect. Keeping, doing a population control. 90 feet, all out of Jupiter. The bonita slaughter continues. It's great that he takes his daughter out there and they go and lace into them and bring them home some fish. So great catches. Good job, Richard. Thanks for consistently posting and supporting the brand too. Also, let's keep on keeping on. Here we go. This is David Lewis out of Hillsboro, just trolling a ballyhoo with a blue skirt. Nice sailfish. Check that out. So sailfish are reef fish, but they're considered. Lots of people say they're pelagic sailfish or over the reef. I've caught them in 40 feet of water. Nice sail, pulling it out there. He said, he wrote another post, said, yes, the fish went back in the water. He just pulled it out real quick, got himself a picture, and fish went back and swam off happy. So there we go. More pelagics. All right, Juan Alberto Perez. West Palm Beach Wahoo. That looks like it's on the Nomad Diver too. Solid fish right there. Congrats on the wahoo. So your wahoo, I actually have seen quite a few wahoo caught this past week. It's getting to be that time of year. The littler ones are going to be swimming out more healthy. Hopefully we have a good, healthy, solid bite That would be perfect. So this is just to let you know that the wahoo are starting to swim around, folks. Whether you want to troll these plugs, planer troll, you know, they're out there. You can live bait them up too. You can kite fish for them. They'll hit everything. It's just, you know, the wahoo is an elusive fish. So just bear in mind, if you are targeting them and you go home empty-handed, that's part of the process of that getting dialed in. Anyway, congratulations on that awesome catch one. Nice wahoo. What else do we got in Pelagics? Captain Ryan Palmer. He headed out of Fort Lauderdale on the charter boat. Family Jewel, captain. So if you're looking for a captain and you're in the Fort Lauderdale area, get a hold of me. I can put you in touch with them. Family Jewel. Found some nice sized dolphins. So, you know, these are right around a little bit bigger than 20 inches, which is good. So, you know, they're, you know, definitely keeper sized dolphin. Hey, whoever he brought out on the charter, unless it was a personal trip, did great. Brought home some nice keeper-sized dolphin. All right. So, yeah, not much going on this week because everybody was, you know, staying home because the weather was just really pounding it out there. So let's talk a little bit about that in detail. The Inshore, right? Pompano and Spanish mackerel. Go out and look for them. The mullet run has already passed. It's not done, but the report is they're down in Miami already. So it moved quick. And again, we're in September. So yes, it's about doing its thing. So Mullet Run is pretty much finalizing itself in the Tri-County area, ended up down in Miami, and soon they will round and go into the Gulf side. I got one more fish to show you. I forgot about this. This is Gadiel. This is actually our poster child of the week with this nice yellow jack. Check this out. He says, jigging 200 feet off Port Everglades. Awesome picture. And that's a good sized jack too. He's not got his arms way out here showing you, you know, a fish like that. He's holding it. That's a solid yellow jack. So I bet you that was a real great fighting fish right there. So another species yet. Yes, definitely a beast. Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's a good fish, right? All right. So, you know, another species to add to the arsenal and say, hey, I want to go out jigging. Am I just going to catch bonitas? No, you've got the chance of hitting this. You know, there's also a few Atlantic bonitas swimming around. Our kingfish bite's going to start firing up, and you know, a few other things. So just, you know, don't be afraid. Jigging is always fun, and when fish like these large jacks hit, man, it's the fight is on instantaneously. All right. So again, Spaniards and Pompano Inshore. Over the reef, the snappers are still biting good, and obviously we've got the yellow jacks trolling the reef. Wahoo! They're starting to show up, folks. And with that saying, the false albacore bonita bite is going to start to dissipate, allowing the kingfish to start feeding more freely. We've still got blackfin tuna out there swimming around the footballs. Some of them are actually a little bit bigger size this week, I saw. And there's mahi out there. It's just, you got to hunt them down, man. It's going to get tough. But our second run of mahi is about ready to start. So don't shy away from fishing for them. All right? That's how that goes. Okay, folks. So that's our fishing report. Let's talk a little bit about the weather. Okay. So I'm going to pull this up here. And again, we're going to pull it windy, and we're going to explain to you what will happen, right? So right now, here we are. Here's windy. And we've got, this is Tropical Storm Francine. Like I said, tomorrow should be making landfall sometime by tomorrow night in Louisiana. Okay. They're predicting Category 1, Category 2. And then in the coming days, it'll, you know, transfer out. Now, what I want you to notice is you see where the hurricane is going to be going. Look at all the wind, how it's pulling everything with it. So remember, I said right now we've got a ton of moisture in the air. If you look right about now, there's moisture everywhere, right? Especially if you look outside and see how cloudy it is. And today, this moisture the storms are holding a lot of water. So if they tend to dump rain, they can dump a ton of rain instantly and cause, flash floods, especially those folks down in Miami, Sweetwater area. Fort Lauderdale's been getting flooding over the last couple of years too, in the downtown area. So, but what's going to happen, like I said, over the next couple of days, you'll see it's going to draw all of that moisture with it, which will, towards the weekend, dry us out a hair. Not entirely, like I said, but our rain chances are going to go from like 70, 80% a day down to, like 40 to 50. Okay, so regardless, let's look right now. Let's concentrate on Florida and see where we're at. So tomorrow morning, right, folks, we've got a south wind in the less than 10 knots. Not bad. On the West Coast too, same thing. Again, we've got it's all being drawn towards this storm. Storm is a big atmospheric event. It doesn't just cover, it covers several hundred miles. Tomorrow afternoon, southeast winds, very light over the Tri-County area, all the way up to Port St. Lucie and Vero Beach. And again, on the West Coast, you'll be dealing with the fallout of this, but it's very light winds in the afternoon everywhere. As you head more up north, it tends to get more wicked because of what the storm is doing around the Big Bend. Tampa Bay looks like it's got some, pardon me. Tampa Bay looks like it's got some wind action going on. So them guys, they might want to, in the afternoon, see about staying away from the pier. All the way down in the Keys tomorrow afternoon looks nice and light. So let's look at Thursday morning. And we're starting to get a south wind right around 10 miles an hour, not too bad. And as we head more north, it looks like it starts to pull west, but then it curves right back and is getting sucked up by that storm. Down south in the Keys, we got right around 10 miles an hour, maybe a little bit more, being all from the south. So you're going to get a little bit of wind, but it's not going to be overly ridiculous when it comes to the wind factor heading Thursday afternoon. It looks like it lightens up all over the place. And this is where, starting on Thursday, we're going to start to see that moisture being drawn away from the lower side of the peninsula and head up north, and it will follow the storm. Friday, looks like we're getting a southwest to westerly wind. And on the West Coast, looks like we got a south wind. Down in the Keys, all the way up, upper Keys, you got more of that. Looks like it's going to kind of be pulling to the southwest. The lower you go over the 100-mile stretch, it tends to go more south. Tri-County area, all the way up to Vero Beach, looks like you'll be getting a west wind. So it'll be warm during the day, and it'll probably create a swell coming from the northeast. Friday afternoon lays down again. So we're seeing a pattern of the wind starting to lay down in the afternoon instead of picking up like it was over the last, several weeks, which is, so means the ocean will probably lay down a little bit. Saturday, west wind. So we're going to be looking at a swell. Down in the Keys, you're looking about a south wind. So the wind is starting from the south and curving around to the west as it heads over land. Which is going to make it a little bit bumpy out here on the West Coast, all the way up, Tampa Bay, Everglades National Park, 10,000 Islands, all that good stuff. It's not too bad. It's 5 to 10 knots. Out in the Tri-County area, the further out you go, it gets picked up. But, inshore might not be too bad come Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, looks like we're starting to get some wind being brought down from the north. And we will be heading northwest. And the same thing, on the West Coast, you're going to get some wind action in the afternoon on Saturday. Sunday morning, we're looking, again, that wind is still coming down. It's heading down. It's almost in the Palm Beach area, starting to head down in the Tri-County area, Vero Beach. But again, this is a northwest wind. So it's more than likely going to create a swell. Again, trolling tomorrow in the dinghy out of the street in Maryland. Hey, there you go. Hit them snappers on the troll. There you go. Snap. Just be careful out there. This creek sounds like fun. Anyway, Troll the bucktail jig. Let's yeah, we got this wind event happening, right? And it's the further south we go. So Sunday is looking like our wind's going to pick up, see what happens. And then it starts turning more northerly. So it's going to start disrupting our weather pattern as we head into early next week. Monday, still got this north wind coming down. So it's going to kind of be iffy come early next week, right? Monday afternoon starts to dissipate. The wind starts to let up again, but that's that sort of afternoon weather pattern we're starting to see. Now remember, we are changing into fall. Fall is approaching, so we are going to soon see, like you're seeing here, our wind is going to start coming from the northeast instead of from the southeast. This is called the prevailing wind. It happens twice a year where it shifts from the southeast to the northeast, and then again when we go into spring where it shifts from northeast to more southeast. Now it's not an all the time thing. Wind changes depending upon what's happening in the atmosphere, but that is a generalization as to what happens with our weather. Tuesday morning, winds look fairly light. So, come Sunday afternoon, looks like we're going to have some wind pushing and pulling Tri-County area on the East Coast and stuff, and on the West Coast. And then come Tuesday afternoon, looking pretty light. So let's go back to tomorrow morning and let's check out our waves, right? So again, we've got a northeast swell coming in right now. Over on the West Coast, over in the Everglades and stuff, looks pretty nice. Out on the Keys, patch reefs and stuff, it doesn't look too bad. It looks 2 feet or less. Tri-County area and all that stuff up to Vero Beach, you're looking at, I'm going to say this is 2 to 4. This is going to be choppy stuff because you've got your base wave coming from the northeast and your wind is going to be coming from all sorts of different directions, which means you're going to have this still confused sea. Like Osmani had said, it's sloppy out there right now. So your boat's going to be getting tossed all over. The bigger and heavier your boat is, the easier it can cut through the waves and the more it will sit more settled. If you've got a seakeeper, obviously that'll make life easier. But for those of us, just to let you know, it's going to be sporty and bumpy out there. On both coasts, it's a little more subdued out in the west, but remember they've got that storm out there. Wednesday afternoon, still got the northeast swell heading down right into the Palm Beach counties, and the less you go, these seas are 2 to 4, and the more north you go, you're looking at 3 to 5. Down in the Keys, out on the patch reefs, looking nice all the way down. So if you're, this is tomorrow, right, for your trolling. I mean, if you can get out a little bit out of the creek, hey, cool, man. If not, be on the lookout. The snook, bonefish, there's all sorts of fun stuff down there in there. Fun. Alrighty. Looking nice over in the 10,000 Islands at Everglades National Park area. Redfish, snook, all that good stuff. From probably Fort Lauderdale down, it's like 2 to 3. And the more further north you go, this swell's really going to impact your fishing. All right. Thursday, that swell is really starting to head south a little bit now of Palm Beach into the Fort Lauderdale area. So it's going to be up in this area. We're looking again at that chop and slop. So, if you're heading out, be cautious. And then you're starting to see an actual confused sea right down here in the Keys where you've got the waves coming in several different directions, right? So just bear that. The further south in the Keys you go, the further offshore you get, you're looking at some good bump. All the way up in the West Coast, it's going to be choppy. You've got your waves actually heading towards the peninsula. So this is, the fallout from this storm. All the way up. Big bend everywhere. And again, there's the storm right there. So, that storm's pushing 20, 30 foot waves. And, if you look at the big picture, it's not too far away from our coast. So it dispels, it pushes a ton of water, which is why you're going to have, this going on, this sort of action happening on the West Coast. All right. Thursday afternoon, still the swell from the north and the same stuff on the West Coast. It's going to be, bumpy. Let's see what happens if anything changes. Friday, still our northeast swell coming down. And again, winds coming from all different directions. So more of the chop and slop this week, folks. Friday again is supposed to be the day that, there you go, heading to the patch reef. Smart move. Get out that bucktail jig. I'm telling you, troll right where the coral meets the sand, and wait for every barracuda and its mother to hit you. Actually, right about now, this time of year, I would say you're hitting up the patch reefs. You should definitely be, on the lookout for cirro mackerel. You can troll them up on the patch reefs. You can troll up yellowtail if you stay off. So if you're right on the border of where the coral and the sand meet on the deep side of the patch reefs, you can get the cirro mackerel. You're obviously going to run into barracuda. There's black grouper out there, so just be careful because they'll nail you and run you into the rocks. There's also the greenback mutton snapper, the big size ones, and you'll see them when you catch them, and it'll look so pink. They got a greenback because they're in shallower water. Now, if you stay more over the rocks and less over the sand, like go in, find little areas, you'll actually be able to troll up yellowtail snapper. Just some advice about patch reef fishing right there. Just speaking from years of experience. All right. Friday morning, still the same thing with the weather. This is the day where the moisture is going to be kind of pulling away because the storm is heading into the mainland. But again, we've still got this swell offshore, and it's all the way down. You're looking at, 2 to 3, solid 2 to bumpy 2 to 3, all the way down to Miami. And the further south we get to go, Friday looks like it cleans up a little bit in the morning for Saturday in the Keys. Saturday afternoon, the Keys is still looking nice and light too. Inshore right here, the lighter colored area, as you can see from our color coded key, it's 2 feet, 2 to 3, all up and down the coast. And then as you get towards Vero and St. Lucie, it's going to get a little bit bumpier because of the swell. So again, 2 to 3, but if you've got a confused sea, it's gonna, like I said, lots of rocking and rolling. When you've got waves coming like this, it can be a wet day out there. Sunday, same thing, more of the same. Keys is looking good Sunday with some light seas all the way down the island chain. Up on the west coast, looks like you're starting to get a break come the weekend. Sunday afternoon, there we go. We got some big stuff headed our way starting Sunday, because we did see those winds, right? We saw that strong wind pattern heading Sunday into Monday. Oh boy. Wow. We're looking at on Monday morning, man, we're looking at, down into the Palm Beaches, waves, up into the double digits almost. That's some good stuff, folks. Though Monday is not looking like the day to head offshore. If you're in the lower Keys, you're not feeling the brunt of it yet. But starting in Palm Beach County South, that's some seas and a half. Starts to dissipate a little bit Monday afternoon. Tuesday morning, you're going away, but you're still solid 2 to 4, 3 to 5 Tuesday. And as the week wanes on, that will go away. And it looks like your West Coast is sitting pretty for the beginning of next week. So that's very, 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 very tough goings for the beginning of next week. All right, now let's look at our rain and moisture in the air. And we'll keep on keeping on. So tomorrow morning, again, a lot of moisture in the air, folks. So you're going to see some of this could produce big dumpings of rain at an instant, right? But like I said, over the next couple of days, it's going to draw all this moisture away. So as you can see, you've got your rain event happening here. That's Wednesday morning. Let's focus on Florida. The Keys look fairly dry, the lower Keys, tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, a typical pattern. We got lots of rain on the coast because remember, we're going to have a sort of southwest wind starting to pick up. Thursday morning, rain offshore. Again, this is the day where the moisture starts to be drawn away up north following the storm. Thursday afternoon, West Coast moisture, West Coast storms. Friday morning, like I said, a little bit drier out. You know, some moisture over here, out over the Bahamas, some over on the West Coast, not real bad. Some over the lake. Friday afternoon, typical weather pattern for the, you know, inland storms. Okay, not much happening other than moisture on the coast. Saturday morning, light, pretty light, not much moisture. So again, this is where I said it's all being drawn up and it's following that storm. That's the atmospheric activity that's going on. Saturday afternoon, typical of, you know, storms. If you get them, that's just the time of year we're in. And again, we're heading. It's not going to be around too much longer. We'll dry out. Sunday morning, not much happening in the way of moisture. Sunday afternoon, some stuff, not much. Dry, fairly dry Sunday. Now remember, we've got that huge wind activity that's starting to happen Sunday afternoon, but it's looking like it's going to be dry, but dry wind, dry air, but lots of wind and waves. Monday afternoon, not much happening either. Heading into Tuesday, still drier air, Tuesday afternoon. And again, once that wind starts to pull away, push away, that's probably an area of low pressure. Again, we'll get in high pressure right behind it, driving in more storms. So that's what we're looking at right there. All right. So very interesting week. Kind of, again, we're looking at the sloppy seas, and heading into the beginning of next week, it's gonna get pretty dicey out there until midweek. All right, let's look at wind, the wind finder, right? So today, again, southeast winds, you know, less than 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow, as the sun comes up, less than 10, and in the afternoon picks up. Moisture. You can see all the rain, right? Like I said, lots of moisture right now, but that will change in a few days. Wave direction, we've got that swell from the northeast, 2 to 3 feet, solid 2 to 3 feet. Long period between the swell, but again, when you've got wind heading in the opposite direction of your waves, you've got chop and slop. So, if that's your cup of tea, listen. The one thing I've learned over the years, and first, you can't control the weather, right? We all know this, but calm, flat seas never really made seaworthy sailors. Just bear that in mind, right? I'm not saying go out and get in trouble, but think about that. Dead flat seas never made a seasoned fisherman, right? It's all part of fishing and getting into it. You know, you gotta get a little beat up every once in a while, and earn your keep, put in your dues. All right. Thursday, again, more southerly, heading a little southeasterly come Friday afternoon. Less than 10 miles an hour, and heading into Friday actually too. The moisture, again, like I said, the moisture starts to go away on these days. And look here, Friday, we're looking at, clouds, not too much rain until come nighttime. Again, northeast swell 2 to 3 feet, fighting against opposite wind direction. So, if you're drifting too, this can cause issues also with your current and your wind. When your current goes one way, your wind goes another way, you get what's called a backup drift, and your line makes a huge belly instead of actually just going straight out. So, the drift for mutton might be a little difficult. Saturday, south, heading to southeast. Sunday, again, south-southeast, which is different from what we saw on Windy. Windy said Sunday the wind's going to start picking up. But here, if we go into Monday and early next week, it's really not too much different than what they're saying here. Sunday, they're saying not too bad. Sunday evening, they were showing that wind was really going to be ripping and the waves were going to pick up. So they're looking at Monday, you're looking at 3 to 4, 3 to 5, with 9-second periods coming from the northeast. So very interesting how this forecast here is contradicting what Windy is saying. So we shall have to keep an eye on that and figure out what in the world is going on. Okay, let's look at NOAA, their forecast real quick. Keep it on. NOAA, our favorite folks. All right, Wednesdays, southeast winds 5 to 10, seas 2 to 3. Again, north swell at 7 seconds, and then from the southeast, 1 foot at 3 seconds, right? So this tells you perfectly right here. Look at that. You've got a north swell at 2 feet, 7 seconds apart, and a southeast chop at 1 foot at 3 seconds apart. So this is what I'm talking about when they say it's sloppy out there. Thursday, 5 to 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet. Same thing with the confused sea. Chance of showers and thunderstorms, right? Thursday through Friday night, same thing, 5 to 10, 2 to 3 feet. Same thing with the confused sea, 2 foot at 7 seconds, southeast 1 foot at 3 seconds. So you're rocking and rolling no matter what you do. There's not going to be any wind. If you're heading out, you'll just have to deal with it. Saturday through Sunday. Again, this is agreeing with more of what WindFinder said versus Windy. Windy said Sunday night we're going to get some stuff in, but this doesn't head into early next week. So again, seas 2 to 4 feet Saturday through Sunday night. So as we head into the weekend, we're looking at picking up occasionally to 5 feet, northeast swell 3 feet at 9 seconds, and south 2 foot at 3 seconds. So we're dealing with a very confused sea right now. Over the weekend, it's going to be fairly bumpy, not too bad the rest of the week. And heading into next week, we're looking at some turmoil on the ocean. All right, let's look at our moon and see where we're going for those of us that like to fish by the light of the moon. Okay, there we go. We are waxing, which means we're heading towards the full moon right now. Okay. Again, waning means you're heading towards the dark side of the moon, the new moon. Waxing means we're heading towards the bright side of the moon, the full moon. So right now, today, 43% waxing. Tomorrow, 53%. That's Wednesday. Thursday, 63%. Friday, 73. Saturday, 82. Sunday, 90. And heading early into by mid next week, we'll be at the full moon. So, yeah, the bummer about it is the seas aren't really, they're going to be rough. You want to get your wahoo fishing in this week, it'll be prime time a few days before that full moon. And also as next weekend approaches, hopefully the weather decides to settle down a little bit and give, the folks that can only fish on the weekend, give us a little bit of a chance to maybe get out there and pick off some wahoo because they're swimming around real healthy right now. And as you approach the September moon, right? The October moon, the November moon. Those are ones you're definitely going to want to try and pick off some wahoo. They're not going to be, I don't think they're going to be the giants. The giant wahoo really, for me, they swim around in March. Those are when I typically catch the biggest wahoo. But you never know. The big ones are always swimming around. And you never know. One day you're going to be thinking, it won't be too bad. And the next thing you know, you end up with this, 60, 70 pound fish on the other end of it. So that's what our moon is doing. We're heading towards the full moon, and that's going to be next week. So moon phase, right now, tide charts. Time for the tide charts, which is very important for fishing that water flow. So again, like I said, fishing offshore, you take it for what it's worth. Let's look at today. Today, right now, we're at the slack tide as the sun comes up, rises, and then if you are fishing your jetties, it's looking pretty good to get out there throughout the rest of the week as the sun is getting as the afternoon hours, because you've got that water flow heading out. Again, say it every week, and I'm going to repeat it like clockwork. If you're fishing jetties or you're fishing inlets and you're trying to fish the water flow, you want to fish the falling tide when the water is going out. You do not want to fish the incoming tide when the tide is rising. What happens on the falling tide is it pushes all the sediment, all the microorganisms, all the phytoplankton and everything, pushes it out the inlet. The little fish come in and they eat that, then the bigger fish come in and they eat the littler fish. This is why it's important to understand when you're fishing any area like an inlet or on the jetties or anything like that, you have to fish the outgoing tide. If you fish the incoming tide, well, good luck. You're going to catch a lot of water. All right, let's move on. Wednesday, We're right at the end of the outflowing tide as the sun comes up. And as your sun is starting to fall, you've got a lot of water flow. So it's more ideal, you know, if it's not too wet out there, and you want to go fish off the jetty or fish outside the inlet, it's more ideal in the afternoon to fish that water flow. You're coming into that feeding time area. All right. But it's going to get better as the week goes on for the morning time. So Thursday, we are a little bit past half tide in the morning and as dusk. Great times to fish either time of those if you're fishing that water flow, right, folks? All right, Friday, halfway through, a little less than halfway through as the sun sets. So this is a great prime week if you can get out there. Friday, you know, we're going to dry out. Might not be the best time to get out on a boat, but if you can do that land-based fishing and get out there and hit that jetty, you know, or even, you know, right near the jetties, get the pompano bite, get the Spanish mackerel bite going on, see what's happening, right? Get out there with your gotcha jigs, your bucktail jigs, anything, pitch them out, wind them in as fast as you can, and try and get that bite, folks. Saturday, again, great time to get out there. The water is starting to flow, and again, into Sunday, you'll be right around here. The water will already be flowing, and again, as the sun sets, you're starting to get that water flow. So coming towards the weekend, you're going to hit the end of the tidal flow if you're land-based fishing out the jetties or anything like that. You know, or if you're heading out on a boat and you want to fish the inlets, doing, you know, you're drifting, you're yellow towing, you're trolling, whatever you might want to do. It's, you know, it's more prime to hit it in the morning. All right, so that is our high chart. All right. So that about does it for the fishing report and for our weather. Like I said, this week's looking really wet till we head towards the end of the week. Then we're looking at a possible wind event. And we've got very sloppy seas right now. So it all depends if you're willing to get out there and try and do it. Okay, before we head off, folks, before we sign out, as always, I would like to invite you, if you are on Facebook, join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. It's a great community. Just find South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report right here on Facebook. The title looks like this minus the date. And every Monday, have a post your catches. Posts go up. Everybody posts in there. If you post your catch, a picture of your catch, you're guaranteed to be part of the show. You also have the option, just like Gadiel did right here, of being the poster child, being the thumbnail for this week's live show video on YouTube. So to join is absolutely easy. Answer a couple of questions. What's your favorite fish? And do you agree to the guidelines? The guidelines are simple. Guys, no advertising. I got a guy who keeps advertising to have his boat detailed. If you want your boat detailed, I've had to decline it several times. You know, no YouTube videos, right? This is the YouTube video. Okay. Now I do promote, what I do is I do promote captains and I do promote YouTube channels. So you're a YouTuber, right? Like Jason Reese, Googan the Pro Offshore, Dennis Sukol. There's several guys that got YouTube channels that, you know, they pitch in and they help the community. Of course, I'm going to talk about it and promote your channel, of course. But, you know, throwing your videos on here, not really too much into that. Regardless, it's a community here. Everybody shows what they got going on. And, you know, it's good times. It's just here to help you see if something's in your area, what's biting, right? Help keep you into the bite locally. That's what we're doing here. So, you know, if you're on Facebook, again, ask to join. Love to have you. And before we sign off, folks, just want to invite you to join the brand, the South Florida Saltwater Fishing brand, by our sponsors, WindRider. Go out and get you a fishing shirt, right? They got hoodies with gators built in. If the page will overload. There we go. Right there. WindRider, the company. South Florida Saltwater Fishing, the brand. Go on ahead, go on the website, check it out. They've also got, non-hooded shirts. You can get the branding on the front, on the back, multiple colors. These are UPF 50 shirts. They're fast drying. They're great fitting. And the cool thing about it is lots of these companies that I've just now noticed, and I'd like to mention it about WindRider, is that they make shirts for big dudes, right? Lots of these shirts, when you order it, it's extra large, it's super tight. So this company actually makes, big size, plus size stuff. So there you go. All right. That about does it for this episode, folks. Hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed. And like I said, it's sloppy out there right now, but it is what it is, right? You can't control the weather, but we can control this show. And we hope to have many, many posts of some sort of catches come next Tuesday. All right, folks, it's been fun, and it's about time to shut it down. Till next time, South Florida Saltwater Fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.